He shook his head, his thick black hair still wet from the shower he'd taken this morning. The man had a routine, and I was privy to nearly all of its time slots, including pre- and post-one-night stands. It made me sad for some reason, seeing him take no effort to find a woman who actually deserved him. "This morning's bunny was a real treat," I said, holding my coffee mug up and taking a drink. He glanced over his shoulder at Letty, still engrossed in her coloring, before returning his focus to me.
"I meant to have her out of here before Letty woke up, but she's up early. Did the girl say anything in front of her I need to feel guilty over?"
I sighed and shook my head. "No, just to me. I'm used to it, though." He tilted his head. "Not important." He set his toast down and wiped his hands on a napkin.
"If they're saying hurtful things to you, I'll stop bringing them to the house."
Warmth fluttered in my chest. He'd do that for me? That's ridiculous. This is your house. Honestly, it's not a big deal.
"Anything that makes you uncomfortable is. I thought you were cool with it, but if you're not, I'll find other means."
"Why would you care that much?" He pushed back from the island and came over to me, stopping an inch or so away.
"You take care of my daughter when I can't."
He lowered his voice. I assumed so Letty wouldn't hear.
"You're as important to her as I am, and I can't have anything drive you away. She'd be crushed."
I swallowed the rock that had lodged itself in my throat. While I had no plans to leave Letty soon, I knew I couldn't be her nanny forever. All I'd ever wanted, besides maybe a gallery of my own, was a family someday. And while I loved this job and Letty, I would never make my own children feel like a second choice. Lucky for me, I had no man vying to put a ring on my finger, so the problem wasn't a real threat yet. "I'm not going anywhere," I said. "I'm just surprised you've kept up your old-school antics after having her. I mean, she's your daughter. What if some boy treated her the way you treat women?" The question left my mouth before I had the chance to filter it through my brain. I clenched my eyes shut, knowing I crossed the employee-employer line. But damn, we'd been friends long before he'd hired me. He was the guy I'd spent every summer with, relaxing at his parents' cottage, sneaking the horses out of their stalls for midnight rides. Sure, we'd lost touch when I went to Cornell and he went to UW, but it didn't dull the fact that I knew him, and that he deserved more than the string of meaningless sex he'd fallen into.